Hey Alexis, you had emailed me and asked me how to do the Transcendentalism project, so let me go ahead and go over that for you. If you go to the Transcendentalism project on Google Classroom, specifically if you look at or find the Google Doc that says examples of transcendental thought, this is actually the document that you're going to be turning in. You'll notice that there are, as I scroll down the page, let me get here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories of transcendentalist thought. What you're going to do is find an example that corresponds with each one of these ideas. And you're going to find an example in modern pop culture. So you're going to be looking either at comic book strips, music, you can look at TV commercials, you can look at YouTube videos, you can even look at TV shows. And what you're going to do is find an example of where a character is not conforming. You're going to quote from that example and then you're going to explain it. Like, for example, this is a representation of nonconformity because the character does this, or whatever. So let me go over into it a little more in depth. If you go back to Google Classroom, I've included various different documents that you can look at. Let's start with examining Transcendentalism through Popular Culture Final Project. Here's the instruction sheet. If you read through that with me, it says that you're going to be looking at the resources in pop culture that you have access to, and we'll go over that in a minute. Consider the genres such as sitcoms, TV dramas, cartoons, movies, commercials, etc. Provide at least one example for each characteristic. Choose a different quotation from each category and put that in on your chart. You're going to be looking for examples from multiple genres, and I want you to include at least 2. So in other words, you can use comic book strips for 4 of them and at least music lyrics for 1, or vice versa. So just a combination of different genres. Be sure that you provide examples for quotations or examples that you've chosen that show why each is an example of transcendentalism thought. So here's the instructions. Go through it by yourself. Let's break it down specifically. And I think the easiest thing to do is start with this link here on the screen, Transcendentalism Thought Songs. On the screen here, you see a summary of songs that include transcendentalism thoughts. Like, for example, the R. Kelly song, I Believe I Can Fly. If you were to pull up the lyrics for that particular song, you would note that he says, I believe I can fly, I believe I can touch the sky, I think about it every night and day, I spread my wings and fly away. So how does that relate to any of the transcendentalism ideas? If you scroll over here to the actual worksheet that you're going to be doing it, that relates to self-reliance. He believes that he can do anything he sets his mind to. So inside this chart, you might actually include the song lyrics, and so you would put from R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly, and you would actually include the quote. So give the lyrics say, and you would type them out. Okay. And then over here you would explain why is that self-reliance. Okay, these lines represent self-reliance because R. Kelly is saying that he can do anything that he puts his mind to, blah blah blah. So you're literally quoting from the text. Now, song lyrics is going to be easy because you can actually copy and paste the lyrics in, but if you decide to use something out of pop culture like a sitcom or TV, you're actually going to be quoting the characters. So you might say something like, for nonconformity on Modern Family, and I don't know who the character is, you could say Susie says to John, and you type that up, whatever he says. And then over here in explanation, you would say this is an example of nonconformity because Susie is refusing to blah, 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 blah. So you're literally quoting. Now, one genre that you have access to, and I'm going to scroll back over to Google Classroom, is comic book strips. So if you click on this link here, it says gocomics.com. And it's been blocked here at the school. Hopefully it's not blocked for you at home. I'll have to get it unblocked. But it includes comic book strips from about the last 20 to 25 years. So students have been going on there and actually finding comics. And I'm sorry that I can't provide instructions right now on how to go to it. Hopefully you can access it at home. But what you're doing is you're just trying to literally find a comic strip. And let me see if I can go into the internet and just find one. If I do something like this, Transcendentalism cartoons. I'm going to type that in. So if I click on this one here, let's see what we come up with. The cartoon on the screen, if you read it, it says, here we stand, peering down the drizzling depths of doom drop, when we turn around and retreat to the whatever stupefying security of home and hearth. Or do we brave the descent, risk demise, and experience the flood of somatic sensation that screams we are alive, gloriously alive, however temporarily? And he turns around and says, Hobbes, I thought the question was rhetorical, the other way though. And so, if that represents any transcendentalism thought, like free thought, what you would do is actually copy that comic strip and you would paste that here at the end of the document in this area. And then up here in the chart, you would put C, comic strip, Calvin and Hobbes. And I would read that, and then you would give your explanation as to why that's an example of free thought. So let me know if this video helps you. If not, I will try to include more specific information in the email. Thanks.